Hi, and welcome to Collins Canine's Reinforcing Calm for the Leash. For some of you, this is obvious why you want to teach this, but for others, this may not seem like a top priority. I've found over the years that working on this behavior helps with almost any issues you have that happen outside of your home. Does your dog pull on the leash or just get too excited outside? Teaching them to be calm from the beginning will help immensely. Does your dog bark, growl, or lunge at people or other dogs? Getting them into a relaxed state of mind before you even go out the door will help them respond better to any training you do outside. We will apply these techniques to each aspect of being outside, but if your dog starts out over aroused, it will be hard for them to handle anything after that. So what are the prerequisites for teaching this? Absolutely nothing. If your dog is really out of his mind when getting the leash on, then I would recommend teaching some basic obedience like sit or touch so he has something to fall back on rather than just only doing the wrong thing. And when is this needed? I recommend working on this if you already have a problem or even if you don't. This behavior stems from your dog repeatedly associating the leash or something that may mean nothing to them with walks, which may be either really good or really bad. So at some point, your dog may start getting overly excited. Better to teach the right behaviors than wait for the wrong behaviors to start and have to correct them. So let's watch our first video to see how to start.
Hi there, Lisa Collins again. We're going to today work on an aspect of training your dog that can help with a lot of different problem behaviors. We're going to work on just right now is getting your dog to not go crazy when you put on the leash. A lot of dogs get really excited when you put the leash on or even reach towards the leash. We're going to start out right now with me just trying to put the collar on my dog. Dogs get really excited about the leashes and collars if they don't regularly wear them, if they like to go out for walks, because it's always been put the leash on, go out for a walk. So it's what we call classical conditioning. If you're familiar with Pavlov, where they rang the bell and gave the food, this is the same thing. We put a leash on, we go out for a walk. Eventually the leash causes the same excitement as the walk because the walk is something good, therefore the leash becomes something good. But usually because we want to get out as quickly as possible, we got to get to work, we got to make dinner, or whatever it is, that we essentially reward unwanted behavior. The dog starts jumping, barking, getting excited, running around, and you just want to get out, so you grab the dog and just put the leash on, as opposed to trying to use what is a reward. Going outside is a reward, and therefore, for most dogs, therefore getting the leash and the collar put on is a reward. So if we put that on while they're jumping or barking or whatever, they are getting rewarded for that behavior, and therefore that behavior is going to continue. So we want to try working on rewarding good behavior with putting the leash and the collar on. So like I've said before, not everything has to be about treats. If your dog gets excited about something, they deem it a reward, they deem it reinforcement, and therefore we can use it to train to shape their behavior. So what I'm going to do right now is Archie is over below the table over there, and his collar is on the counter. I think, because what usually happens, because I haven't trained my own dog, is when I go pick up the collar, he's going to come running. He may jump up and down, I'm not really sure, but we're going to see what he does. If he jumps up, I'm going to put the collar back down on the counter and walk away for a second. Excuse me, and then I'm going to come back and try it again. If he stands, or better yet sits, I'm going to reach down to put the collar on. If he jumps up in that time, the collar goes away. So this is actually, we're going to be giving reinforcement, giving good stuff, but also taking that good stuff away to decrease. So if we can say, that's the behavior I like, and you get the collar or the leash put on, but if they perform behavior we don't like, then that good thing goes away. That's actually what's called negative punishment. I know that sounds weird and I won't get into it too much, but we can give and take away rewards to shape dogs' behavior. So I'm going to try it and see what he does. So I'm just going to walk over, pick up the collar. He perked his ears up, and came over and was lovely and sat, and that's very good. And he's showing off because that's not what he normally does. So good job, buddy. So we're going to go to the leash part right now and see what his behavior is.
Well, that was too easy. Let's use the same concepts for the leash.
So now we're going to try part 2 of this exercise. Archie's been wearing his collar a little bit more lately, so it's not a direct indicator of going outside, so he doesn't get so excited. But his leash is right behind me. So my guess is that when I pick it up, he's going to come running. He's walked off. I put our other dog away, so it's a little bit weird for him. He doesn't quite know what's going on, but we'll see. So again, what I'm going to do the same thing with the leash. I'm going to pick it up. If he comes running and does something I don't want him to do, most likely with him, it's going to be jump up really high. I'm going to put the leash on, and I'm just going to take a couple steps away. So I'm taking away all the good stuff, the leash, and therefore the opportunity to go outside, and also myself. I'm just going to do that for a second or two, and then I'm going to come back and try again. I want to be able to give him lots of opportunities to do the right thing so I can reward it, but also teach him that if he does these things I don't want, like jumping up, and again, insert whatever your dog does. They may bark. Some dogs will grab at the leash with their mouth and play tug. Some dogs will just get really, really excited and prance around and not let you put the leash on. That makes the leash go away. We don't want that behavior. Therefore, don't give the reward when they're performing that behavior. So let's see if I can get Archie to come over to me. Here he is. Oh, you're just being a perfect little angel, aren't you? Aren't you? So he sat down. So I'm going to put the harness on him. And he's actually being a wonderful little boy. So I'm not going to lose that opportunity. Okay, he jumped up a little bit. So I just dropped the leash. It was already, his harness was already on, and took a couple steps away. So it was barely, he can jump about at least up to here. So that was not much, but I still don't want to reward that. So even though I already have the leash on, I can still essentially take away that reward. The reward is me holding the leash. That's a very good dog. So he just sat down without me asking. And wouldn't that be nice if you got the dog near you and he just sat down? Good job. So I'm just going to walk outside for a second and then come back and we're going to continue.
Okay, buddy. Yes, it's a good boy. Come here. Oh, that's a very good boy.
That's here. Good job. So he just got the reward. Even though we didn't go for a walk, dogs are not that smart. He doesn't understand that, oh, I didn't go for a whole walk, therefore I didn't get my reward. It's the whole association of putting the leash on and going out the door. And we're going to work on going out the door because usually he doesn't go out that nicely either. So I'm going to try it again. And you can do this at home. You can do this multiple times. This doesn't just have to be when you're actually going out for a walk. I actually recommend doing this multiple times throughout the day when you're not going for a walk. So it isn't always they get the leash on and then they go out for a walk, because that just reinforces that association and that excitement. So we're going to try it again. I'm going to pick up the leash again and see what he does. If he's good, the leash goes on. If he stays good, I'm going to open the door and go out the door. So he just stood up. Wasn't that bad. I don't mind it. But he plays this little game of I'm not going to let you put the harness over my head. And it's kind of annoying. So to shape his behavior, I just took the leash away when he did that. So I want him to hold his head steady so it can be easily put on him. All right, so I got the leash, and he's still being a very good boy. And then we're gonna go out the door and get a little reward. Oh, you big nerd. And that's all we're gonna work on for now. We're gonna add in the next step. I don't know who is out there. We'll add on the next step so you can keep working on it and make it a peaceful transition from inside to outside.
Well, that was pretty easy too. So let's try it with both our dogs.
So we just did the exercise of putting the leash on the dog with just Archie. And he was really good. The problem is I have 2 dogs. And when both of them are getting ready to go outside, when we're trying to take both of them out, which we normally do, that increases both of their excitement. So now we're going to try it with both the dogs, which is probably going to make Archie's behavior a little bit worse. Right now, I'm just going to focus on Archie. Darcy, we've worked on this a little bit because she used to jump, and 85 pounds of jumping muscly pit bull is not fun, but we've worked on this. She just kind of prances around. Sometimes it's annoying. It's something we live with. I could work on it with her again, but I don't really care. So right now for this video, I'm going to ignore Darcy's behavior, and I'm just going to work with Archie. So I'm just going to be paying attention to Archie's behavior. Unfortunately, that's sort of going to reward and negatively punish Darcy a little bit, but she's 10 years old. She's got very thick skin, literally and figuratively, so it's not going to bother her. So I'm going to do the same exercise with both the dogs around, and again, all I'm doing is watching for good behavior from Archie, and I'm going to reward that with the act of the leash getting put on him. If there is any behavior I don't want, again, specifically jumping and pulling away from me, the leash is going to go away and or I'm going to go away. So I hear I'm getting a drink, but we're going to see what happens when I pick up the leash. And here comes Archie, and he sits like a little gentleman, like he isn't supposed to, but here comes Darcy, and so he jumps up. So I walk away because I want him jumping to take away the reward. Jumped again. I go, the leash and I go away. I don't know if you saw that he thought about it. He was about to jump. So again, he moved his head away there and then jumped. And he's being nice and calm. He's more excited now that Sister's around. He jumped up, so I went away. He doesn't need to sit the whole time, in my opinion, but I want him not to be crazy. Good job, buddy. Right. There's just stay there. Good girl. And then I'm just going to take the leash off, put it away, and then I'm going to try it again and see if I get a little bit better behavior. Even though you wouldn't normally put the leash on, just walk out the door, come back in, it does help the dog learn. It also, like I talked about before, desensitizes them a little bit. Not every time they get the leash put on do they go out for a walk. Therefore, getting the leash put on is not such an exciting thing, and it will help all the way through your walk. If we can keep them calm here, the rest of the walk is going to be not necessarily perfect. We'll work on that, but it's going to be a lot better. So I'm going to try it again, grab the leash, and see what he does. So he stays where he is. And that was a little bit of a hop, so I just took a step back. There, good. Come on, Bubba. Good job. All right, so we're just going to keep working on that. You may not get all the way to walking outside. We're actually going to work on that separately. But if you can get the leash all the way on, that's great. Or do it a couple times if you just get it over their head, if you're using some sort of collar or halter. If you can just get it over their head when they're doing good behavior and then take it off and try it again. All those little baby steps are going to build up into just being able to grab the leash and put it on your dog and then go outside and have a nice peaceful walk. So keep practicing that until they're nice and calm, and then we'll move on to the next step.
So a few notes on this. As we did here, start with the first activity that gets your dog excited. That may be as early in the process as walking to where the leashes are kept, or it may not start until you go to the open door. Even if the behaviors aren't that bad, say when you walk to the leashes, it's all escalating. So if we can start teaching your dog to calm himself, he will be better when it's the point when he currently goes crazy. Also, if I were working on this in a normal situation, I would not be talking. Looking at your dog and talking to your dog can be viewed as rewards, so if he does something you don't want, we want to take away all rewards. I've seen lots of owners reprimand their dogs as they walk away, and this is still a bit of a reward to most dogs. So all smiles and happy when they are doing what we want, and nothing when they're doing what we don't want. And lastly, as I mentioned, training 2 dogs is really 3 times the training. We trained Darcy, the big one, years ago. Now we need to train Archie, the little one, before we can expect him to be successful with Darcy around. So now what should I teach? This behavior can apply to a lot of different issues that people have with their dogs. If you have a dog that jumps on or is afraid of people coming in, work on any or all of the following. Desensitize them to the doorbell or knocking at the door. Teach them how to go outdoors. And work with people coming indoors. We will have videos, if they aren't up already, covering all of those issues. Same if you have a dog that reacts to other dogs or people out on walks. We're going to teach them how to go out the door. We're also going to work on all levels of reactivity, beginning, intermediate, and advanced work. If you have a dog that doesn't walk politely, work on all levels of the let's go command, from being really easy in the home to more challenging behaviors outside. Teaching a touch command helps as well. And then if you have this issue, we'll work on how to work off of squirrels and rabbits and other little animals that make our dogs crazy. So now get to work on all of this. Thanks for watching, and please like, share, and subscribe, as there will be more videos to come pertaining to this and many other trainable behaviors.